You're watching the 2015 Lone Star Conference Football Online Media Day on LoneStarConference.org. Trey Reed, along with Midwestern State head football coach Bill Maskell. Coach, welcome to the show, first of all.
Glad to be here.
And the Mustangs come in picked third in the Lone Star Conference preseason poll, behind favorite Angelo State and Texas A&M Commerce at second. Where did you expect to fall in the poll?
You know, I thought we'd probably be fourth. West Texas has got their quarterback coming back, and I think anytime you got a starter coming back, Tarleton's, I think, has got one of their quarterbacks coming back, and obviously Angelo's got Washington coming back, and I don't know what they've got over there at Commerce. And so, both Commerce and Angelo were the two that finished up the strongest last year, and I think that was probably pretty much a given. And then I think the rest of us, including Eastern New Mexico, and I don't think you can count out Kingsville with a new coach. We could fall anywhere from three to five, and it really doesn't make any difference because it's all what you do in the field anyway. This is all speculation based upon the way the teams ended up last year. And as I mentioned to you just a little bit ago, that I think Division II rosters change a great deal from the end of the season to spring practice to the end of spring to the beginning of fall. And so there's probably some players that we've all picked up that are going to be able to contribute. And obviously we don't know who those players are at this point from a competitive standpoint.
You look offensively, you do have eight starters returning, three obviously that have not returned, but heading into the season, technically you're with a new quarterback from a starting standpoint. Jake Glover being lost to graduation. That's the big point here. How do you go into the season? You have a lot of continuity, but just not at the.
Well, I think that both of our young quarterbacks are very athletic and very talented, and it's going to be interesting to see the competition because they're both competitors, they're both winners, they're both good football players, and they're both savvy guys. And I'm anxious to see how that plays out. They're both athletic and probably, not probably about it, more athletic than the quarter Jake that we had the last 2 years. And Jake brought seniority, Drake brought experience, but I think these two bring more athleticism and less experience. So it's a trade-off either way you look at it. And their surrounding cast is with 8 starters returning. We got tight ends back, the receivers are back, we got running backs that have played a lot. We've got some offensive linemen that are back. We've got a good nucleus there. Where the difference is going to be is on defense when there's only 4 starters back, and we've had to work really hard in the spring to develop those guys that haven't played, and they're kind of an unknown right now. And I think when you're an unknown, that makes you want it a little bit more and be a little bit hungrier.
And defensively, no returning starters up front, 3 in the secondary, and senior Marquis Christian, who we'll see later on this show. Herb Whitehurst and Dominique Williams, and then senior linebacker Daniel Laudermilk. So a lot of work to do up front.
Yeah, I think so. And I feel as good as you can be going into 2 days about the development of what we did in the spring and where we are going into the fall. We'll find out right away when we get back as to what they've done over the summer and how to progress from that point. But I think that, I think secondary wise, you got, Herbert was more of a rover type guy, and so that we kind of count that in the linebacker scheme. But Dominique and Marquis are 2 guys that have been proven that they can play and play at a high level, and they just need a couple more and some depth to follow through, and that's going to come from guys that nobody's ever heard of or nobody's ever known anything about. And Marquis came from nowhere. He was a good player in high school, but he all of a sudden became a co-starter his freshman year, and I think we've got some talented guys just like him that can fit the bill.
And they'll have to do that in a hurry this year. 11 game schedule, first time in a few years for sure. Non-conference wise, Truman State, Colorado Mesa, and Humboldt State on the schedule this year. How do you feel about the 2015 slate?
Well, I think if you break it into three equal parts, if you can do that with 11 games, the first three are going to, in my mind, just because of the preparation with so many unknown kids that haven't actually performed, and with fewer opportunities, we were opening up a week earlier this year, the first week in September versus the second week. And that might be a good thing because there's a more sense of urgency as what was in the past. We knew we had that extra week of practice. The second game, we're going to travel all the way out to Colorado, and that's it's a drive. It's a bus drive. It's not a plane trip for us anyway. And we're going to get back late, and then we're going to turn around and play Eastern New Mexico at 11:30, an early ball game. So I think if you look at those three games, and then you look at the middle part of the season, where you hit Tarleton, Angelo, West Texas, you hit those three in the middle, and then at the end, you finish with, I think Humboldt comes in there somewhere, and
right.
then Commerce, and then Kingsville. Do I hit all? Do I hit? We missed.
That was all of them. And key thing about it is the 5 home games this year too. So that's a plus to the schedule.
Well, that plus, if we have the success that we think that we can have, then you're going to add another home game or two at the end of the season. And I'd like to see our conference get more than one team in the playoffs. I'm hopeful that that's going to happen this year. And to do that, you got to hit on all cylinders throughout the course of the year, and not, last year we got one team in, and I think we had others that were deserving that could have gotten in.
Well, good luck this year, Coach.
We appreciate it. That's right. Thanks so much.
You're watching Midwestern State portion of the 2015 Lone Star Conference Football Media Day on LoneStarConference.org. Next up, we'll be joined by senior safety Marquis Christian. You're watching the 2015 Lone Star Conference Football Media Day on LoneStarConference.org. Trey Reed along with senior safety Marquis Christian. Marquis, first team all-conference performer last season, played 8 games, made 81 tackles. And we were talking earlier about big hits, and basically we've had a few highlights in your now going into your 4 seasons. Kind of, what are some of the ones you remember?
Oh man, I've had some good hits since I've been here, but a few highlights. Of course, I remember scooping and scoring freshman year at West Texas. That's one of the biggest memories to me. But as far as hits go, I have some pretty good hits. Like last year, the hit against Ricky Collins at Commerce at home. It's pretty memorable. I remember my sophomore year, I believe, I had a pretty memorable hit against West Georgia. We were down in West Georgia. I think it was late in the fourth quarter. I got me a guy right across the middle, pretty good on the post, like towards the end of the game. That was a pretty good hit, and almost like one of the best hits I've had. So my career was like at practice at the scrimmage on one of my teammates, unfortunately, but those are the most memorable hits I've had since I've been here. Probably.
And moving into the season, said defense that's going to be a little bit different looking. 4 returning starters from last year. It means losing 7, and coming in along with another senior linebacker, Daniel Laudermilk, who was the second returning tackler at 68. From a senior perspective in the secondary, what does it look like this year?
It's a different nucleus every year, and then every year we never know how it's going to look until we get out there in the season. But our defense, the way our defense is, our coach is always going to put the best 11 guys out there that are going to run to the ball and make plays happen. So, I just have confidence that our coach is going to make the right decisions, put the right guys out there, and the guys that are out there, the guys work hard enough to make those plays. And starting off now, we have an 11-game season, so that one more game is just going to help us gel more together. And once we get rolling, I think we'll be top defense like we usually are.
picked third in the Lone Star Conference this season. Obviously, the goal is to win. Scoreboard. That's why you play the games to win. What does that mean for you going into the year being picked third? Does that leave you something to prove, or can you understand the pick the way it is?
I mean, I can definitely understand the pick. Coming off last year with 6-4, really one of our best season in a while. So I wasn't even expecting the third standing. I was, like Coach Malcolm said, I was expecting probably a fourth. I was going to land it somewhere in the fourth, because those guys that do have the standings on top of us, they earned it with their season last year. And the standings are based off last year's performance. But man, me and my teammates, we don't even give into the polls. We leave that to the coaches and everybody else in the media. We just focus on football and getting ready for the season and putting the work in now. So when the season comes and when it's all said and done, we can be at the top of the conference.
And being your fourth year in the Lone Star Conference, kind of talk about the competition level of the league.
Oh yeah, ever since I came into the conference, it's always been a very competitive conference, and year in and out. We never know who's going to finish on top. It's been crazy ever since last year. Angelo finishing, and nobody saw it coming in. Just like the year before when Eastern New Mexico finished the top, it was a surprise to everyone. So every year, it's a tough battle because everybody come out and try to beat us. We stay so consistent, but yeah, I mean it's a pretty tough conference, and you just got to go out there and be ready week for week to go in and battle, because every game counts in this conference.
One of the big events of the year is the Lone Star Football Festival. This will be your fourth appearance in this. What does it mean to play in AT&T Stadium, home of the Cowboys?
Oh man, it's no better feeling, being from Texas and Cowboys being America's team and having the stadium that Jerry Jones built. It's a wonderful stadium. It's just a wonderful opportunity. It's like my first time playing there. Every time I go, it's just an amazing experience. I love it.
All right, thanks, Marquis, and good luck this year.
Thank you.
You're watching Midwestern State's portion of the 2015 Lone Star Conference Online Media Day on LoneStarConference.org.